Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 176. Big Box Steve on the mic and Big Smooth. And it is playoff season, college football playoff, NFL playoff starting. So we'll get our overall season tallied up, see how we did on our overall ranking, get that posted in the description and talk about it next week. But it's a pretty good season, NFL overall. Um, we probably are about average on our picks year over year, I bet, once I do the comparison. There was a little bit of unexpectedness, though, that I think threw off the picks a little bit. Patriots, I think, are one of those teams winning a lot and like Ravens losing a lot, especially at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Falcons. Falcons with winning games they should never have won and losing games they should never have lost.
Right. And they got off to a pretty poor start as well, where, at least you were betting, that they would win the games they should have won. And
Yeah.
they just didn't win much. So the who else did that in the Tampa. Tampa was one that didn't finish with the record you thought. He probably gave up two or three games there as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my two teams in the Super Bowl are both sitting at home.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, speaking of Baltimore sitting at home, so what a way to lose, right? If they didn't catch the game, Baltimore had a chance to win. Rookie kicker though, right? And that there's something to that, I think, personally. That's not a hard field goal, and he just pushed it right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't have to have your kicker when you're in a game anyway. When Derrick Henry has over 100 yards rushing in the first half and then like six carries in the second half, no wonder Harbaugh's fired.
Yeah.
Because the reason is Harbaugh didn't want to fire Todd Monken. Dude, Todd Monken should have been fired. What was it a few years ago where Derrick Henry had the six times rushed against the Chiefs?
Like in the playoffs too, right?
Playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like dude, you have this guy who's obliterating the Steelers. And it's time of possession. Nah, we're gonna stop giving him the ball.
It's really weird because they did that in a couple games late in the season too, right? He
What are you
had
saving him for? Now you're sitting him at home.
right, but he had that same thing in a game like a couple weeks ago too, right? Where he had like 100 yards in the first half. He didn't touch the ball much in the second half. I think they still won though. I can't recall the game, but it's very similar to what happened this week. And it's just a little strange when you have a guy who has 100 yards in the first half and then not any carries. I get it if you give him the ball seven, eight, 10 times and he only has 25 yards or whatever, you give up on that at some point. But if he give him the ball, you don't even know, right? If you don't give him the ball,
Yeah, man, it's so irritating. It's not that hard. If something is working, you continue to do it till they stop it.
right? That's a missed part of coaching and football these days. You see it in guys like Ben Johnson's playbook, Matt LaFleur's playbook. What's the guy in the Rams? Why do I always forget his name?
McVay.
Yeah, Sean McVay's playbook. They're designed to throw in all of these unique formations and tricky plays and they're maybe not tricky, but they're trying to get, offset the defense and get motion going a different direction, things like that. But they fundamentally sometimes forget that you can just, if you run the ball four times for 4 yards, you get a first down, right? And if you do that all the way down the field, you get a touchdown and you just have the ball for most of the quarter.
Like what the Panthers game where they do a flea flicker in the red zone.
Like, dude, well, first of all, the positioning of the flea flicker is the biggest problem, right? Because you're in the red zone. Now, even if I was trying to justify it, because you could, I thought about this when we were talking about it the other day when it happened. Let's say with that flea flicker, you were just doing a long motion where you were going to clear out one side, right? So you're going to have a guy come all the way across the field, and all of a sudden nobody's going to be there because you cleared it out and you had that needed the time to do it with the flea flicker. That's still okay, right? That's not a bad play inside the 20 or the 30, but It's raining. You can't, you're falling all over the place. And now you're asking Dowdle to run up and stop, turn around and throw the ball. He's already slipped, what, two, three times in the game trying to get through the holes. That's the biggest problem, right? That's just a horrible weather time to call it as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you might justify the red zone area or the 30, but you're never going to justify calling that in those weather conditions.
And they lucked out because the Falcons won their game, or else the Panthers would be sitting home because of that
Yeah.
play.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is interesting too. So, what are your thoughts on the tiebreaker and these tiebreaker situations? Because what's the reality of the way that division finished, right? All 8 and 9, right?
Yeah, except for the Saints, right?
Yeah. Well, the three that tied, there was
Yeah.
three, 8 and 9 teams. And immediately the first thing they go to is, your head record, right?
Mhm. And so, since the Panthers swept the Falcons, they won the tiebreak out of the three.
Yeah, out of the three. But just talking about the Bucks and the Falcon or the Bucks and the Panthers for a second, right? The Bucks lost to the Panthers early in the season, which is why them winning this game had to go to an overall tiebreak.
Right.
But my thing is like if you this is the last game of the season, it's basically a winner you're in situation. Luckily the Falcons somehow beat won a couple games late to make it a three-way tiebreak, right? Otherwise, if Carolina loses that game, they're going home, right? And that's the way it should be. The two best teams in the conference division are playing in the end of the season to see who goes to playoffs. And there's an argument for why not just send Tampa?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The problem is Tampa had well, they won at home in the rain by a little margin. So is it really, I mean, they have the same record, so why would you give it to Tampa just because they won the last game of the year? They both split the series.
Right now, because then now we again you talk about well in week 3 or week 4 or whatever you lost, right? And you can say, well, maybe they had injuries or make any excuses, right? But if I'm like picking which team I'd rather see in the playoffs, I'd rather see the one that beat the team than the team that went to the playoffs right there at the end.
Right.
Uh,
But the only way you could really do that is if it's a neutral field, though. I mean,
well, see, the NFL's tiebreaker is super statistical, right? It's all stat driven.
well, and here's the thing though, Steve. The Panthers beat the Bucks 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks ago. So it went Bucks, Panthers, Panthers played the Seahawks, Panthers played the Bucks. So in the last they played the last three games. So they went 1-1 in the last three games of the season. So it wasn't like it was early season
Right.
Panthers.
Yeah, and that's where it gets hard for me, though. That's what I'm talking about, though. So now you're talking about how do you even pick one of those two teams that just played in 3 weeks twice?
Well, why don't you pick the Falcons then?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole problem with their whole system, right?
Well,
But the other option is like now you're voting people, and now you have running the same problem that college football runs into.
right. Well, and that's where it kind of comes down to how it was in the division. So the Panthers lost both games to the Saints, but beat the Falcons twice and split with the Bucks.
Yeah.
So what did the Bucks split with the Panthers? What did they must have
Well, I know they split with the Falcons too, right?
did they split with all three teams or all
I think they did split all three.
Falcons? Okay, so they lost to both. Bucks beat the
Oops. Yeah. So the real
yeah.
question though is like, is it better to have this very statistical tiebreak versus them say, okay, maybe there's some kind of voting system into the playoffs?
Right. Well, I mean, it all comes down to the Falcons, and that's the thing is the Panthers beat the Falcons twice. So what is if you go by common opponents between Bucks, Panthers, Falcons? Panthers are 3-1. What Bucks are 2-2, and the Falcons are 1-3.
Right. But since there's four people in the division record somehow evened
Right.
out.
Yeah, because the Panthers lost to the Saints both
Yeah.
times.
Well, and that's part of their tiebreak system, right? It takes a number, then it goes to a different number, and it just keeps going, right? Until it runs into a number that doesn't match.
And funny thing, it was the first tiebreaker.
Yeah. Well, because there's three of them, right? Because normally it would just be what's it? Does it go head to head to common every time?
It goes head to head first and then
Then division,
division.
right? Then to common.
Or does it go division first, then to head to head? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's head to head, division, and common. Maybe even
Who really knows?
no, I mean we've gone through this before. I guess, and I don't care what their tiebreak is. Honestly, I know we've gone through it many times. But the question is the tiebreak better than like the old school way of college football and like voting people in?
Well, I'd rather go with the tiebreak system instead of vote because, and honestly, none of the teams deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all 8-9. They're all 8-9. Do I think the Bucks are going to beat the Rams anyway? No, I don't think any of those teams are going to beat the Rams.
yeah. It's gonna be a tough game either way, right?
What's ridiculous is they get a home game.
Yeah, that's even funnier because you're playing a team with a better record at home.
Yeah.
So I mean,
A
there's
much
silliness
harder,
to it, but
the much harder conference too.
right. Well, speaking of that, let's start into our game picks here. So we got NFL playoffs starting on Saturday, and then so let's do NFL first, then we'll jump into the college playoff. So first game is Carolina, the Rams, right? That's what we're talking about.
Rams are 10.5 point favorites.
Yeah, it's obviously in Carolina on the road in the playoffs, and you're a 10.5 point favorite. I mean, you got Stafford, right? There's a good chance he wins MVP.
I don't know. I'm hearing lots of Drake May.
I mean, he has a chance for sure, right? But still, either way, whether Stafford just misses it or wins it, you still have a top MVP quarterback going against Bryce Young and a pretty inconsistent Carolina offense.
Right. I mean, the Panthers are a nice story. They may, who expected them to make the playoffs? After trading all that stuff away for Bryce Young, they still are in the playoffs, just like the Bears,
Yep.
playing the same day. Both have home games, but yeah, I think Rams have to be one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl, you would think.
I think at this point, most people, I mean, even myself, I'm picking Seattle and the Rams as your top NFC contenders for the Super Bowl. And so to have them lose first round to Carolina is improbable. I'm definitely taking the Rams to win this game. They'll probably cover that, to be honest. So yeah, I'm taking Rams to cover. The thing is, Carolina's done a good job, right? I mean, Bryce Young's not looking like as bad of a pick as he originally started. They went a good job. They went and got Dowdle, and then they drafted Ted McMillan. So they're setting themselves up for a decent future. It's just not now, most likely.
Right. Yeah, I agree. The Rams are going to be healthier. Devontae Adams, they rested him so he could be ready. You have Nick Puka and Kyron Williams. You got that whole offense. That defense is very good too. So I think the Rams cover this also.
Yeah. And I think the Rams have missed Devontae Adams because they kind of got red zone reliant on him for a while.
Right.
And so having him back is huge. And Devontae, he loves the spotlight, so the playoffs is going to be fun for him.
Yeah. Well, especially since the last few years for him, he's going to want to show.
Yeah, just finish on a high note, right? So, I mean, we're pretty much in agreement there. So here's the big one. Oh man, Saturday, my Bears have been pulling all year for this game, right? This is what I've been waiting for. And my hope is that they don't let me down. But Chicago is in a similar situation as Carolina. I think just a little bit better at this point, but they're still a young, growing team. They I hoped that they could be here, but they really exceeded my expectations for the season.
Yeah, they were close to the one seed.
Yeah,
Uh, I saw a thing, it's kind of hilarious because Malik Willis is playing. They're like, oh, sorry, Packer fans. It looks like Malik Willis won't be able to play. You're gonna have to have Jordan Love play.
right,
Um, I, you know how I feel about Jordan Love. So
right,
I'm
yeah,
taking the Bears here. I think at some point Jordan Love's gonna make a crucial mistake throwing off his back foot. The Bears defense gets lots of interceptions. And so I think I saw Kyler Gordon is going to be back. I got Bears are at home. Who knows how much longer they're going to be at Soldier Field?
yeah. This is important for them.
I'm going to be playing be the Indiana Bears soon.
That'd be awful, but you never know these days. Bears have had a problem all year with their injuries, right? So I was one of the things I hoped was that they would come into the playoffs a little healthier, and they have. And even the guys that had played the last couple games, have been banged up. They've been on, play limits, things like that. And I'm pretty sure now everybody's good to go, right? There's not going to be a lot of play limits, and you're going to get the most. And then number two is like you said, like Jordan Love, you have to make Jordan Love make a mistake, right? So the Bears have to put pressure on him. You can't let him sit back. He's a fairly accurate thrower when he doesn't have pressure, when he can play on his feet, and when he doesn't make bad decisions, right? You have to put pressure on him. You had to cause turnovers, and that's how they're going to win this game. So it's really, I think, going to come down to how Dennis Allen calls the game on defense. But Bears have gotten turnovers all year, so you'd expect a couple. You'd hope for a couple, and that'd be the difference in the game. But I'm taking the Bears. Like, I mean, this is the first time in years I picked them all year, and they didn't have a losing record for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So, yeah, we'll go Bears here at home. Hopefully, they jump off to a good start. And then Sunday, we've got a big Sunday. This is what a great day, right? You get 10 a.m., 1:30, and 5 o'clock, all three playoff games.
Well, I'm just thinking about, so tomorrow, Thursday, you get a college football playoff game. Friday, you get a college football playoff game. Saturday, you get two playoff football NFL games. Sunday, three playoff
Right.
NFL football games. And then Monday, you get a playoff NFL football game. It's,
Well, then
it's
you're
a tough
probably
year.
back into the college football too, right? I haven't looked at their full schedule yet, but
When was the championship? I think they give a whole week because I think it's on a Monday.
19th.
Yeah, so that's a Monday.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a whole week for that, huh?
Yeah.
But that'll help for next weekend when the NFL's playing playoffs again.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's a lot of days in a row. But the Sunday kind of sticks out because, like I said, we get to watch football on Sunday at 10, 1, and 5 every week. But sometimes it's like I don't want to care about the night game, or you
Yeah.
can miss the morning games. Well, it's all day now.
You get like Browns, Titans, and that's the only game
Right.
you can watch.
So starting the morning game, 10 a.m., Jacksonville, Buffalo. Man, I mean, just to me, this is the hardest game of the week to pick. And so I don't know how you feel about that, but when I was trying to break down this game, it looks so close to me.
If you didn't tell me what the teams were and you just were like, here, this is what you got and what you got, and told me about the teams, but didn't give me who they were, I'd probably take the Jacks. But I got to take the Bills. This is their last chance. I mean, the Bills don't have Josh Allen doesn't have to worry about Burrow, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I mean, if you look at the quarterback, I mean, Drake May this year is yes, he's MVP caliber, but then you've got either Herbert, Stroud, Old Man Rogers, Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix. Josh Allen is clearly the best out of all those.
Yeah, I mean he's reigning MVP, right?
Yeah. So I have to go Bills just for that. If like, do you think McDermott gets fired if they don't win this game?
Probably not. I mean, he can't really go 12-5 and lose in the playoffs and then get. I mean, he can. I don't know why they would at this point,
Well,
but you're right. Like
he's wasted
yeah,
Allen's prime.
yeah. I mean, they're at a precipice where they need to like get over the hump, right? And this game, I think, is that game for them when you think about it, because you have a hot Jacksonville. You're going into Jacksonville, and Josh Allen has to take over this game. You can't give Jacksonville any confidence because they've been a confidence team. You notice a lot of their games, like when they get on a roll, they start putting up a lot of points. I mean, the over's 51 on this, right? The spread's only 1.5. So this is a 50-50 game right now. Man, it's so tough. But I think I'm with you. Uh, Trevor Lawrence has been on fire, and my question for him is can you now translate that to the playoffs? And so it's a big point for him as well in his career, but I believe more in Josh Allen than Trevor Lawrence at this point, and I don't think that the Bills will lose this game. I don't think they really want to lose this game. They're going to be playing their hearts out.
And then don't forget about James Cook. I mean,
Yeah, 1,600 yards, right? He won the rushing title, right?
no, Bijan, I think, did. Didn't
Did he?
Bijan?
Where's that podcast guy that gets all the statistics for us?
Oh no, you're right. It was Cook. Seriously, he beat Derrick Henry by 26 yards.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry should be the NFL rushing leader.
But you don't give him the ball enough, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so we're both going Bills here. Any prediction? What do you think the score is going to think you're going to cover that 51? That's a lot of points.
I mean, is it though? That's like 28-24.
Yeah,
I think they will. This ain't
I'd
the
like
eight.
to see that.
It ain't the 80s, 85 Bears here. Even though in the Super Bowl they did cover that spread or cover that.
Right. This is in Florida though, right? So you
Yeah.
might get some rain, but you may just have a real nice day to play football.
Well, let's see if they got the temperatures and stuff. Yeah, because
But you
Jackson.
never know when it's going to rain in Florida though.
That's true.
There's no predicting that.
Well, sometimes it just rains for 2 minutes.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It just comes in and goes and comes back when it wants to. It's really
It says
weird
it's
down
going to
there.
be 55 and overcast.
That sounds good to me. That's football weather in December or January
Oh,
if
I
I ever heard it.
we didn't even talk about Bears. It's going to be 35 with light snow.
Yeah, I mean that's just Bears Packers though. Like if you're not used to that, you're not playing for the right team. That's normal weather for those guys.
Sadly, no other Cool weather games. Boo. The Panthers Rams, it's going to be 71.
Oh wait, there's only two games on there. I threw that Rams game into the Sunday. That's lame.
What? No, there should be three. There's three.
Where's the other game? Oh, well,
You got Bills, Jags, Niners, Eagles,
oh, Niners
Chargers.
Eagles. There it is. Yeah, okay. Niners Eagles is the afternoon game.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a tough game, right? The Eagles didn't look great to finish out the season, but then they rested, right, on purpose.
Right.
Really, the last two games, or not last two, not the Bills game, but the two Commanders games they played in two of the last three. Like they weren't trying real hard against the Commanders.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they put their, well, they had all their bench in.
Yeah, I mean they played the whole bench in the last game.
Yeah.
Is that detrimental to them going into? What do you think about resting your starters at the end of the
Eh,
season?
They're reigning Super Bowl champs. They've been here before, so it's not that big a deal, I don't think.
Right? Does that the experience of the playoffs and so do you think a team that's hasn't been to playoffs in a while, even if they've secured and maybe they're playing for a two or a three spot, would they still be smart to do that? Because Philly could have taken the two spot if they would have won,
Right.
and they probably easily beat the Commanders if they play their starters.
I mean, it's going to be weird, yeah, because the Eagles are going to have to go through the Niners and then the Seahawks, right? And then whoever comes from the other side. So think about that. Eagles could, I hate, sorry, Steve, but Eagles could go and have to play the Niners, Seahawks, Rams in the playoffs.
Right. That's not an easy schedule though. Like why wouldn't you want to go for the two seed then?
Right. Especially since the Packers are banged up. But I guess they felt they'd rather be healthy.
Right.
And then they think they could beat anyone. So why not? Who cares?
Is that the same decision you'd make in his position?
I guess I don't know. It's weird this year because the Eagles have been, their offense has been off. It
Right.
hasn't looked the same. But I mean, they've done this. They've been there before. This will, because this core, besides Barkley, has gone to two Super Bowls in what, 4 years?
Yeah, no, they have a lot of playoff and Super Bowl experience on that team. I mean, they've lost a little bit, right? But a lot of them that
Yeah.
transitioned into starting positions, they were still around and they were playing, just not as much as they are now.
Or like a lot of the defense was winning national championships with Georgia.
Yeah. Well, and they're used to winning too, right? I was thinking
Yeah.
about that too the other day. It's like think about the core of that defense in particular for the Eagles. You know, a lot of them have been winning championships at Georgia, so they have that winning mentality. But either way, for the Eagles, man, it would have been nice to take that two seed because if you look at that, like you're at home a lot of your games. So the problem is if the Rams win and the Eagles win, the Eagles then have to go on the road, right, to the Bears. No,
Yeah.
the Eagles go on the road to Seattle. So the Panthers are screwing the whole thing up.
Wait, so is it, do they go like with the lowest seed or is it actually a bracket?
No, it just goes to seed wise, right? So if the 49ers win because they're the sixth seed, I believe they go up and play the Seahawks. And
I see.
then yeah, but if the Eagles win, they would go and play yeah, they would have to play the Bears on the road, right? Because then the
Right.
higher seed Rams would go play the Seahawks.
Yeah, so I messed up. There's no way that yeah,
Yeah, so again, so that's another thing. Now that's the two and three seed. You may be playing the Bears at home.
right.
when you could have been playing them at home by beating the Commanders.
Maybe they don't fear the Bears.
So, I mean, you said it earlier. You already lost to them once, right? And that was in Philly too, wasn't it? All right. Well, let's make a decision on this 49ers Eagles game.
I don't know. I'll go. I guess I'm taking the Niners. I think the Niners are a hotter team. They put up tons of points in the Bears, and they played a good game. I mean, it was Seahawks are it's you could tell the Seahawks are definitely a tier above the Niners, but the Niners are pretty good. And the Eagles offense, I just don't know. So I'm taking the Niners with the upset on the road.
Man, I don't know if I can take the Niners here. The problem is that when you think about the Eagles, they have all the tools, right? And then it's like, well, they got to put it together. And you're like, well, geez, they just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but this Eagles team reminds me of the one 2 years ago that went in and lost to Tampa in the first round because the offense was just not in sync.
Right.
And that's what it feels like this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm think I'm gonna go with the Eagles here. I was back and forth on this all day, but at the end of the day, I'm taking the home team. We kind of default to that sometimes, and I got to go with the home team here. So we got swing game, Eagles, 49ers. And then, of course, Sunday night, we got Chargers and the Patriots. I mean, I'll lead this one off. I don't think the Chargers can beat the Patriots at home. Their offense actually looks more discombobulated than I think even the Eagles does. Could Justin Herbert come out and throw for 350 yards and, 3 or 4 touchdowns and win this game? Yeah. Is it probable? Probably not, right? I think Patriots are too disciplined and solid, top to bottom. Yeah, they got young guys, but they're working and playing as a unit, and the Chargers aren't. So I'm going to take Patriots at home here, um, and a cover. I mean, that's 3.5. They should cover that.
If it was any other team besides the Chargers, if this was like the Texans, even the Steelers, I would take them over the Patriots.
Interesting.
But I don't trust Justin Herbert in a playoff game. I don't trust him at all on the road. And it's so weird, even with Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers are just the Chargers still. They underachieve. And but I wouldn't be surprised because I don't think the Patriots are that good. They've only won 2 games against 2 winning teams. So, but in this case, I got to go with the Patriots because I can't trust the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they've been up and down, hit and miss too much this season for me to think that they're going to go in and beat what could have been the number one seed Patriots pretty easily. All right, well, last game of the day, got or the week on Monday night, Houston at Pittsburgh. I mean, we're probably on the same page here, but I don't think Pittsburgh should be there. I mean, they got pretty lucky to be there, but again, it's one of those teams. It's like, man, I don't know if there's a different team I'd rather see in the playoffs, but I just can't believe Pittsburgh's there.
I can't believe it's only a 3 point spread. I think the Texans defense is going to devour the Steelers.
Yeah, I think they're getting a little bit of bump because they're at home.
Panthers didn't.
It's just the Panthers, dude. At least the Steelers have, somebody, a quarterback. Yeah, he's old, but he's been there before. Like he knows what playoff football is. Is DK playing? I actually forgot to check
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he should be. He was only suspended for 2 games, so he should
Okay,
be back.
so that gives them a little better chance. But you're right, their defense is too good in Houston right now, and CJ Stroud is seems to be, not out of the little slump that he's been in, but I think, at that cusp of being out of it.
I mean, you could make the thing that the Texans are the best team in the AFC right now.
Oh, you could definitely make an argument for that for sure. I
It's
think
what
I've
we thought
heard
they
a
should have
lot.
been last year.
Right. That's it's funny you say that because I was thinking that same thing about 3 weeks till the end of the season when they were starting to like make a turnaround and just look like a really solid team. I was like, this is what we expected from them last year, and you just didn't see it. So you're right on the money there. All right, so we're both going Texans here.
Yep.
All right, so we got Carolina, the Rams. We're both taking the Rams. We got Chicago, Green Bay. We're both taking the Chicago. Buffalo, Jacksonville Sunday morning. We both took Buffalo, and then San Francisco, Philly. Split split on this one. You took San Francisco, I took Philly, and then we both got New England, and we both got Houston. So I mean, if we're right, we're right. You know what? We'll
So
see.
look for the Panthers, Packers, Jags,
If you're a betting man,
Chargers,
put some
Steelers.
money on all the opposites. No, I mean, just you can pretty confidently say we're probably, you're going to win half or more of those games.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do college football here real quick because we have college football down to the Final Four. They should call it the Final Four. It's much more interesting.
West got 3 out of 4. We were 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I liked Miami in that game. It was real surprising that they dominated Ohio State that way.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, I knew had a chance, and you knew it was, they got to score a lot, and they did. Like if it was a high scoring game, Ole Miss had a chance, and they took advantage of that. Oregon Texas Tech game was just the one of the ugliest games I've seen on both sides, both teams, both sides of the
Dude,
ball.
I think right there that, I mean, you said it, but is Dan Lanning one of the best, worst coaches in college? I'm like, how many times did they go for it on fourth down where they could have just kicked a field goal and been up like 3 scores?
Yep. I mean, they're lucky it finished the way it did because Texas Tech, if they could have got up that one drive and scored and said, "Hey, we're still in this game," they had a whole like fourth quarter to do it, right? You get a score, now you're only down one touchdown, and you could win that game. So for Oregon to be in that position after how poorly Texas Tech played, and you're right, he just gave away points too often. You can't do that against Indiana. Indiana, Alabama. I mean, Indiana's rolled them. That wasn't
Yeah.
even fun to watch.
I wanted Wes on here because I wanted to, if I'm Mark Davis, I throw all this casino money at Signetti and say,
Yeah,
we'll pay off everything. Just come.
he's a hot coach right now, and you gotta love what he's done. At a program like Indiana, because it's not like doing a great job at Alabama or Georgia. You
Right.
know,
Well, I think like Dan Lanning goes to Oregon. I mean,
right?
he gets Nike money.
And yeah, and you already have a good roster, and you have good recruits, and tons of money, and you're like, and you're still blowing games. I just hope it doesn't look like last year for Oregon. That's my worry, right? So if you remember what happened to them last year is they got out game planned, on both sides of the ball. And part of that was Dan Lanning, whether it be him or his coordinators or them working together, they didn't think about, oh, maybe Ohio State's going to game plan for us and we should change it up a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't do that against Signetti. So I hope that's not for Oregon because Oregon comes out and they play like they can. They equal athletes, and I've seen arguments back and forth, or who's got better athletes. Look, these two teams, these two programs have similar athletes on their team. They're both good teams. They both can win games, right? This is going to come down to coaching for me.
Well, and we saw it. I mean, can you honestly tell me that Alabama doesn't have better athletes than Indiana, right?
Right. 100%.
And Indiana just smoked them.
Yep.
And that's where you can tell like a highly run, great program. Like, because that's the thing they talk about Signetti is, well, it's funny. Actually, all four of the coaches right now are have coached under Nick Saban.
Yeah.
But the Signetti is the closest to Nick Saban in his preparation and like he wants perfection.
Yeah, I think when you watched how his team plays, I noticed this in a couple of the games, and Georgia was one of them, and Texas Tech was another one. They their teams, even though they have great talent, they play a little undisciplined. Where Indiana they just played very disciplined with less talent. So that's 100% accurate there. Well, does Oregon have a chance? I mean, what do you think?
This is the Vegas Raiders Bowl. Who's going to be the number one quarterback? I'm when push comes to shove in college football, I take who has the better coach, and so I'm going Indiana. Simple as that.
Oh man, I know. Holly's gonna be so mad at me because I think Indiana's gonna win this game. They're not only are they on a little bit more of a roll, but if you saw Dante Moore got a little banged up in the Texas Tech game, and Signetti saw that. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna bring the house, right? Well, Dan Lanning, I just don't think is a good enough coach to say, I think this is what Signetti's going to do. So we're going to take advantage of inside run zones, right? We're going to use their aggressiveness against them. But instead, they're just going to throw a bunch of outside wide receiver screens, try to run their regular off tackle stuff, and I don't think they're going to do a lot on offense. So unfortunately, I'm going to Indiana as well. So bad. All right, well, let's talk Ole Miss Miami because for me, this is a exciting game. Like I'm excited to watch this game.
Offense versus defense, right?
Just the programs in general, not the coaches, because I don't, and we don't have a coach in Ole Miss, right? Which that's kind of cool or something.
And then Cristobal at Miami.
Right.
Right.
So it's not about coaching, it's about the way their players are playing and specifically the ends, right? Miami's defensive line. Now you're going against, Chambliss, he's sneaky, right? He gets around out of the pocket and man, can he throw on the run? I don't know. I saw a couple throws that he made, and not just this game, but I've been watching probably last 3 or 4 games of theirs. When he's on the move, he puts it on a line and on the money, and that's tough. I don't care, what kind of defense you have. When he can get out and do that, he's dangerous. But Miami's defense, man, it's their edge rush is amazing because they got it coming on both sides. So this is a tough one to pick. You would think Miami would win this game, like just from the last couple games I test. But what do you think on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a believer now in Miami. Wes got me thinking about it, and was like, oh, like Ohio State though. And they just put a whooping on Ohio State. It looked like the U.
Yeah.
And you got Michael Irvin on the sidelines. You got, they need to bring back like Drew Hill and stuff. They need to bring everyone back for the
Yeah.
U. Melvin Bratton.
The
So
whole U on the sideline for the game. They maybe for the national championship if they get there.
yeah. But yeah, I gotta go Miami here. I go with defense.
Yeah.
Although it would be hilarious if Mississippi made it to the national championship game when Lane Kiffin left them
Oh,
to
that'd
go
be
to
so great,
LSU
dude.
to win a national. I mean, it's like, dude, if you would have just stayed, you might win a national championship.
You know how great that would be? Yeah, it's this one's tough because it's going to come down to for Mississippi play calling, right? They're going
Mhm.
to have to build a game plan where they run plays that allows Chambliss to get the ball out of his hand quickly and not have to make a lot of decisions because that's going to lead to him getting sacks, right? And potential fumbles, interceptions, and or just ball control, right? Or field position. So Mississippi needs a call to have the right play calls to beat Miami. And I don't know, maybe they will. Because if they do, they can win this game. Lacey is so tough when he gets open space and when you get him like one on one or in zones. Lacey's a better running back than Fletcher. I think Lacey was is one of the best running backs in the playoffs, right? So they do have weapons. So it makes it a real hard decision. I really want Ole Miss to win. So I'm picking them. It may not be the smartest pick, but I really love Chambliss. I think he's going to be a star. So I'm going Miami or Ole Miss.
Keeping the
So at
SEC
least
alive there, Steve.
what's that?
Keeping the SEC alive.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine when the SEC goes out completely? Oh, all right. Well, that wraps up college football there. I mean, great position for college football right now. I like the way the playoffs have worked out so far. I didn't like, the start of the playoffs. It was questionable about some of the teams of their choices. But now that you see how it's played out, you're back into that where a lot of the buys have lost, right? And you've got a 10 seed in there, you got a 6 seed in there. That's good for the playoff, right?
Right. And then, Indiana's the only team that's had a bye
Yeah,
to
1 out of 8.
1 out of 8.
That's wild. So yeah, let's I want to wrap this here, but I did have that question, so I'm glad you brought that up. Is a buy that important? Number one, is it more important in the pros in the NFL than in college? It kind of seems that way given what's how this playoff is looking so far.
I mean, it's almost like though if you look at it, so like last year it was Boise State, Arizona State, Oregon, and was the other? Who was the other by?
Man, you're making me think again.
But I mean, if you looked at it, it was Ohio State, Oregon, which you could have said Ohio State. You know what I mean? It wasn't. If you looked at the teams that had the buys, the teams that were they were playing
Right.
were favorites. Because what you had Penn State, Boise State, and you had
Yeah, the buy didn't work out last year too well. But yeah,
yeah.
because they had Boise State, Georgia again. So Georgia again lost
No, okay.
after the bye because they lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we go by this. Look, the team that beat Georgia went to the championship game. That was Notre Dame at number 7. So maybe there's something
Mississippi.
there for Miami. or Ole Miss. I'm sorry, Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss. Yeah, but Miami beat the reigning national champion.
Right. I mean, but at this point, so what I'm saying about the bye is you might not think of bye such a good thing when one of the first eight win, right?
Yeah.
But NFL, you'd never give up the bye.
No.
So it makes for an interesting, I guess, data point and argument to make that maybe just have them play all the way through, right? Don't take that week off. You don't get any rust. You stay, especially if you're hot, you stay, in your game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't think NFL is susceptible to that. Like you always want to buy.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll wrap sports section there in football. We'll see how we do on our picks. Talk about next week, bring it back, and yeah, any comments in there? Let us know we did. We'll get the shorts out so you guys can
Tell us
see
how
those. And
stupid we are.
hey, I don't mind the comments. I love the
Yeah.
comments. So yeah, if you guys are still listening in the podcast section, or if you're hearing it in the shorts that you see, more comments the better. I love to hear people's perspective on it. There was a couple interesting comments too. Like some people get on you, but other people just try to make a good comment. So
Right.
all right, so we'll wrap that there and we'll come right back. So don't go away. We got a weekly move review for you.